हरे कृष्ण। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणि विचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासवी गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। I wanted to add some more points to why we cannot see God and the mechanical adjustments required to fix our vision. Just, it's a very nice understanding. So before that, I will, yeah, I will just read this. I'll just share the screen for you. Mhm. This is a very good, matlab, at least some points we should remember from this is very helpful. This is for every relationship actually, very clear understanding. Maybe I'll just speak, but what you have to do, you have to discuss in your groups, analyze this. It will be very helpful, definitely. And because we will not be able to discuss on a very practical level, but theory I'll be able to explain to you very nicely. Because we cannot go in a practical level, but at least I try to understand. It's a very helpful. The architecture of perception, why we cannot see God, and the mechanical adjustments required to fix our vision. If you remember previously, we had this episode of why we cannot see Lord. So there we have discussed two reasons. If you remember here, we have discussed two reasons. One is that our material senses, they are designed in such a way. Senses are constructed specifically to enjoy objects, and the Lord is not an object to be enjoyed. He's an unlimited experience. So it is an not an accident or temporary limitation that material senses cannot perceive him. It is a fundamental incompatibility of design. So this was the one reason, and then we discussed the other reason is to experience selfless love, we should not see him. Then only it is possible. So to fully preserve the living being choice, free choice to love. If we see him, there will be fear, compulsion, and self-interest. Now we'll try to understand some other aspect also. This is a different way of understanding the same thing. So why we cannot see him? What is the mechanical adjustments? So here this is one of the reasons. I will explain to it what does it mean. The premise is we attach ourselves to a world governed by material causes and cause and effect because it makes our autonomous uh, autonomous role feel immense. I'll explain what it means. It's a very important understanding we should all have because this is in a more practical. That was what we discussed previously. The reasons they are little uh, different, but this reason is much more easy to understand. I felt so. I will try to explain for you. Just so what happens is that we are trying to understand the Lord in this world. There is a scientific way of understanding that is cause and effect. And what does it mean and why it is blocking us? This is the there are two important reasons for this to understand. Please, little bit attention is needed to understand this concept. See, what happens is, if we are saying here things are under cause and effect, what we do, we try to change the effect because I am the cause for it. That means we can work on the things to change in this world. That means things are under my control. This is the so this is the first problem. And another problem is that this is more important. Please understand here, na, things are according to cause and effect because this is causal ocean. What happens is Krishna explains that we have to be sensitive to see the underlying presence of Lord in matter, which is not possible now. We have to see this vision that Lord is there behind the clouds, he is somewhere there, but is also present within this matter also. That means he is in control. So what happens? Krishna explains that the world is entirely under his control and that a sensitive person can see and feel the presence of God in every moment of matter. And that's what he's telling in Bhagavad Gita again and again. God is not merely transcendental to this world, but simultaneously present within this world. This is very important understanding because simultaneous oneness of God with the world through his inconceivable energy together with his differences with the world. That is actually what is Achintya Bheda Bhetattva. Like we cannot conceive the Lord's energy, but he is present there. So the doctrine is inconceivable, simultaneously oneness and difference. That means to see the world through his prism is to understand the proximity of God, how close we are. It's not merely an intellectual understand. We have to realize this. Very important point. He's not just sitting behind the clouds and just watching. No. Why it is very important? God, who is far away and who governs everything from a distance, is a comfortable concept. But in there, but it is not like that. We are accustomed to see this world as set of material cause and effect. That is the problem. Problem is when we see that this world is material cause and effect, what we try to do? We try to change it so that I will things go according to my way here. I am trying to change it. Now, once we are attached to seeing in this way, because a world governed only by material cause and effect, then our role becomes very important. That is the most important thing. When it is cause and effect, then our role is very important. In a world where everything unfolds by the will of God, our role is insignificant. Is Krishna is Sarva Karana Karana? What is the point? I am giving class. I am not the cause of it. I don't have credit only. So it's actually abruptly brought up. It is dimly. So in the view of the world in which only visible material cause operates is actually scientific view. So that is developed from centuries now. And people are guided in that direction because that will help them to be something very special in this world. And but we are so insignificant. Ainanda tanuja kimkaram patitam mishame bhavambudo kripaya tava pada pankaja stita dhuli sadrisham viche. With a speck of dust at the lotus feet of Lord. So which forecloses the vision of God, the scientific vision. The vision must cultivate in which we see God not standing behind the world, but He is within the world. The world as we presently inhabit it. So here in this world, now we are measuring everything by our own scale. So we discussed this also. Our senses are like measuring instrument. We are measuring everything, and we try to measure sound, smell, taste, such, touch, and all. Now, So it's all, then it becomes the relative world. That's why Sukadev Goswami, when he was glorified by the sages, Saunaka Rishi, what they glorify him, they say he is, Nirvalika. That means free from all the dualities. He is uh, Tasya Putro Mahabhaga. And no, he is such a great advanced personality, and the qualities he has is Nirvalika. He is not affected by the dualities. That means he is not seeing the reality by measuring. He is directly seeing. That is the special quality. And they say that the shloka, I think Bhagavatam 1.4.6, he says that, no, I think 5, 5 or 4. Yes, so the shloka is like this. He says, Tasya putro mahayogi samadrin nirvikalpikaha yenkanta matir unnidro gudo muda ive yata. So he says nirvikalpakaha. He don't have the duality. So that means when we measure this world, na, that is duality. And that's why we are not able to see reality. So here when it is told about the sages, they are telling that he is able to see the reality properly. That is the requirement we all have. And the flaw is the measuring. What we are doing is, this is the problem. So according to the world, we measure by such a small instrument, and the scientists now, this is, they are using their yardsticks of their own intellect, and by that yardstick the world becomes small, uninteresting, boring, and superficial. We look at the world from a superficial vantage point, trying to measure it with our own tiny minds and tiny capacities, and as a result, we condemn ourselves to live within an insignificant world of our own making. So, this is the problem. And then modern science has two unsolved important problems which they can never solve, also. First is structure of the universe, second is the nature of consciousness. Because 95% of the universe, according to the scientists, is dark, unobservable dark matter. And according to our Vedic philosophy, it is what? Tamoguna. Because this world is made of Tamoguna. So it is dark only. So they don't understand why, we understand why. But more than that, important problem is this consciousness. Science cannot correlate consciousness with matter, nor explain how a non-material entity drives a mechanical material body. So this is another important. Now, the most important point here, I will try to explain. This is a very nice, most important point. If you pay little attention to this is very, very important. Actually, in the 19th century, science could not answer some 25 important list of 25 scientific problems that could not be solved in 19th century, and they could not solve in 20th century, and even now 20th century, and now 21st century also, 26 years have passed, they are still unable to solve it. So these two problems they could not solve. Where did this universe come, and how the consciousness is actually the cause of everything. So, what is consciousness? How does consciousness drive a material body? How does consciousness correlate with body? And these are the things which they cannot solve. But here comes the most important, because you have waited for so long. I'll tell why it is so difficult to comprehend God. This is a very nice point. See, what happens is Krishna tells Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschit yatati siddhai yatatamapि siddhanam kaschinmam veti tattva. Out of thousands of people, hardly one strive for perfection. And among those who strive, hardly one truly knows the Lord as He is. So now, what is the problem here? The difficulty, it is that it is very, very painfully hard to recognize and honor the existence of another person standing right besides us. This is the point. Please understand. It is painfully hard for us to fully recognize and honor the existence of another person standing right besides us. That means to enter into a relationship with Krishna requires more self overcoming. That means more violent against ourselves than entering into relationship with another person. Relationship with other person are already notoriously assigned with pain, associated with pain. Like say in the house, family, we have to give up our ego to maintain the relationship in the house. Otherwise, they will break. In the house, after marriage, everybody has this experience. How much they are able to maintain the relationship. The maintenance of relationship is only because the ego is kept aside, and that is the cause of all our pain. If anybody says any word, after 20 years also we can remember this fellow said this. What is getting hurt? The ego is getting hurt. If somebody cut with a knife, it can be healed after 1 2 years if it is a big cut also, but the words cannot be healed. They continue to come. So this is the danger. This is the problem with the ego. So when we are developing a relationship with any person in this world, wife, husband, they have to sacrifice some of their ego. Why we have to sacrifice also means what is that sacrifice also we'll discuss. Now to develop relation with Krishna, na, we have to give up our ego. We have to make it zero only. Then only it is possible to develop relation with Krishna. That means it is associated with great violence against ourselves. 10th canto, according to Vallabhacharya, is Nirodha. Nirodha is destruction. So according to us, Nirodha is, should be 11th canto, destruction of the creation, right? But Vallabhacharya's 10th is destruction. Why it is destruction? Because Krishna is killing so many demons in 10th canto, that's why it is destruction? No, it is destruction because it is killing the false ego. To enter into Ras Leela is the main part of the 10th canto. So now to enter into Ras Leela, what is needed? Even Shiva has to give up his false ego. He has to become Gopi, Gopeshwar Mahadev. Narada has to become Gopi. That means the ego should be given up that I am so and so. Then only we can enter into the 10th canto. That means it is a destruction of ego, right? So to develop relation with Krishna, ego is an object. That's why we are not able to access him. So relationship with other person, we have a persistent tendency to want to subordinate that person to our will. Means we feel that this person should do according to my will. It is, but problem is na, it is true. It is impossible to truly enter into relation with another person simply by subordinating them. I didn't. Yes. So this is the slide for it. So when we cannot, it is impossible to truly enter into relation with another simply by subordinating. We must recognize their right to exist, their freedom on their own terms. So even like this can be difficult in ordinary relation. If a husband tries to force wife or children, or mother is forcing, wife is forcing husband to do their things, and that is not real relationship, because relationship means going beyond oneself. It means a kind of dying as an egoist. My false ego must die so that I may be in a sense of reborn. This is most important thing. That's why Bhakti Maharaj has book Die Before You Die. Or we have Kanakadas saying to uh, Vyasatirtha that if I go, I may go. That means if my false ego go, then I'll enter into spiritual world. You know this pastime. So the point here is that what should die? The ego should die, which is the most difficult thing for relationship. And with Krishna, it should be zero. Even material relationship, only it is so much. What to speak of Krishna's relationship? And that's actually why all the relationship marriages are surviving, because people are giving up their ego to some extent, because they feel the relationship more important, even though it is painful. And no, every wife will definitely tell to the husband very nice word that you wasted my life. I married a wrong person. You destroyed my life. Somehow the wife will tell to husband, and husband also gives nice reply. I spoiled my life marrying you. I destroyed my life. So I never thought you are like this. And both will tell to each other very nice words. And it is very comforting to the ego. It is so much piercing the ego, right? But still they will not mind and they will continue staying. This is that means what? So ego is getting killed there. But with Krishna, na, it should be 100% killed. Then only it is possible. I don't want to make fun. I'm just trying to tell and make you understand with Krishna how much we have to give up. That is the point. So please don't take it as sarcasm. I want to tell, if material relation only we are giving so much, with Krishna how much we should get take pain. That is the point. So don't get offended. So recognizing of God is, so here we are seeing the root obstacle is God remains invisible because we approach reality to the primal urge to subjugate and exploit our environment, right? We try to do it every time. So the interpersonal memories in human relationship, we constantly try to subordinate other to our will. True relationship requires recognizing another's freedom and dying as an egoist. So the required death is to enter a relationship with the divine requires intense self overcoming. The protective, distorting shelf of false ego must cease to interfere. Right? Subjugation, control, exploitation, false ego. So now, how to recognize the Lord? It's an in an orderly world. That is a solution part. We will do it later. First, we will complete our instruction of Nardun. He gave very wonderful instruction. Actually, I'm got these instructions. I was hearing about Nardumuni, and suddenly my podcast in Hare Krishna TV was that if mother and father are God, why do we need God? I was thinking, Array, what is this coincidence? I am talking about we are discussing about the same topic, and here also in the podcast, the same thing came. Then I took that uh, topic in the podcast. I thought of telling this, but anyway, this is the very nice instruction of Narada Muni, so which I discussed in the podcast. Means I told the purpose. I didn't explain this past time, but other things. Narada Muni, I asked how one could ignorantly defy one's own father. Hariashwas understood the meaning of this question. One must accept the original instructions of Shastras according to Vedic civilization. Not one is offered a sacred thread as a sign of second birth. One takes his second birth by dint of having received instructions in the Shastras from a bona fide spiritual master. Therefore, Shastra, scripture, is a real father. See, sometimes Shastra is considered as mother and Lord is father. But here in this uh, here Nardmani is considering Shastra as father also. Because father also guides, so Shastra also guiding. So in that sense, all the Shastras instruct that one should end his material way of life. If one does not know the purpose of father's order, the Shastras, is ignorant. The world of material fathers who endeavor to engage his son in material activity are not the real instructions of the father. So this is a very heavy instruction. So Prabhupada is writing a very huge purport. We didn't do that day. So we'll do it here now. Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Pavitram cha nivartam cha janana vidurasura. Demons who are less than human beings but are not called animals do not know the meaning of pravrti and nivritti, work to be done and work not to be done. In the material world, every living entity has a chance to lord it over material world as much as possible. This is called pravritti marga. All the shastras, however, advise nivritti marga or release from the materialistic way of life. All Buddhi Shastra, Shankara, this all we have discussed also. They all give. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanvaja. That's what Krishna is telling. And in regard to instructions of father and mother, Prabhupada is writing, nice point. It may be said that every living entity, including even the insignificant cat, dogs, and serpents, take birth of a father and mother. Therefore, getting a material father and mother is not a problem. So if you have any problem this lifetime with mother and father, don't worry. Again, you'll get another mother and father in next lifetime. And that's all. So every form of life, birth from or birth after birth, a living entity gets a father and mother. In human society, however, if one is satisfied with material father and mother and their instructions, does not make progress by accepting spiritual master and being educated in Shastra, he certainly remains in darkness. So we just don't need mother. We also need a spiritual master. That is also a very important thing. So the point is that they are for the material body, and if they are giving this, they are remaining in darkness only. The material father and mother are important only if they are interested in educating their son to become free from clutches of death. Pita nasasya janani nasasya namochet samapaita murtyum. If they are not delivering their children, what is the use of such parents? A parent who does not know how to solve his son, how to save his son, has no value because such fathers and mothers may be had in any form of life, even among cats, dogs, and so on. Only a father and mother who can elevate their son to spiritual platform are bona fide parents. Therefore, according to Vedic system, it is said, Janmana jayate shudra sanskarat bhave dvijaha. One is born of material father and mother as Shudra. The purpose of life, however, is to become a Brahmana, a first class man. So the first class intelligent man is called Brahmana. Tad Vijnanartham Sagurum Evavgacha. So I was telling you, along with mother and father, we need definitely Guru. Janmana Jayate Shudra Samskarat Bhave Dvijaha. Krishna conscious movement is teaching this highest knowledge of returning from materialistic life to return to Godhead. But unfortunately, many parents are not very satisfied with this movement. Aside from the parents of our students, many businessmen are also dissatisfied because we teach our students to abandon intoxication, meat eating, illicits, and gambling. If Krishna consciousness movement spreads, the so-called businessmen will be in close of their slaughterhouses, breweries, and cigarette factories. Therefore, they are also very much afraid. However, we have no alternative than to teach our disciples to free themselves from materialistic life. We must instruct them in the opposite of material life to save them from the repetition of birth and death. So, this is the purpose. And then Narada Muni is doing that job, which Daksha should do, Narada is doing for Daksha. Yah Shastra Vidim Vitsijja Vartate Kamakartha. So, here the 21st verse. So, from here, another sections too. इति व्यवस्थिता राजन् हर्यश्वा चेतसः प्रययूतं परिक्रम्य पता पतामा अनिवर्त्मना. Translation. Sukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, after hearing the instructions of Narada, the Haryashvas, the sons of Prajapati Daksha, were firmly convinced. They all believed in his instructions and reached the same conclusion. Having accepted him as their spiritual master, they circumambulated that great sage, followed the path by which one never returns to this world. See, here the speciality of Daksha is also there. Daksha was so qualified, Daksha so powerful, he could produce such sons. Now Narada cannot go to anybody and everybody. He is going to very qualified people only. And Daksha produced that qualified people. Of course, Narada can deliver anyone. All the Jagai Madai and all the Mlecha Sevanas Narada Muni can deliver. But to get very short time, that much big number is not easy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered, Prabhupada went and he delivered such personalities. But to deliver these people in a big number, that to qualified people, that is much more easier comparatively. They immediately accepted his instructions and then they are so mm, very powerful personalities. Narada Muni is convincing. He is convincing people have conditioning, great conditioning also, and people with no conditioning, which are both of them. Narada Muni is preaching very powerfully. So that we can see here. We should appreciate Daksha also to produce such thing. Now we cannot do it. We cannot do tapasya like Prachetas, sorry, like Haryashvas, and that's why Narada Muni is not coming to us. So to have sons who are performing that level of tapasya also is very great. Not one, two. All the children whom Daksha created, everybody did it. I know to have four children and control them is difficult. He was able to control, able to motivate 10,000. That is his power. And they are all accepted it and started doing. So here that is the point. And from this verse we can understand of initiation and duty of a disciple and spiritual master. The spiritual master never instructs his disciples, take a mantra from me, pay me some money. And by practicing this yoga system, we will become very expert in materialistic life. This is not the duty of spiritual master. Rather, the spiritual master teaches the disciple how to give up materialistic life. And disciple's duty is to assimilate his instructions and ultimately follow the path back home, back to God at end. Once no one returns to this material world. So after hearing the instructions of Narada Muni, the Haryashas, the sons of Prajapati Daksha, decided not to be entangled in materialistic life by begetting hundreds of children and having to take care of them. This would have been unnecessarily entangling. The Haryashas did not consider pious and impious activities. Their materialistic desires instructed them to increase the population, but because of the words of Narada Muni, they could not heed that instructions. Narada Muni, as their spiritual master, gave them the Shastric instructions that they should give up their material world and and as bona fide disciples they follow the instructions. One should not endeavor to wander to different planetary systems within the universe, for even if one goes to the topmost planets, one must return. So this is the instruction Prabhupada is giving. Abrahma Bhora Loka Punaravartanojana. You come back from everywhere. Okay, any questions, comments? You know what we discussed? Yes, Bear Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dhanatpram, Prabhu.
Done.
Prabhu, there was one statement, Prabhupada says that purpose of life is to rise from Sudra and become first class Brahmana. And Prabhu,
Yes.
we hear, Prabhu, that Svesve Dhikare Nishta Sagula Parkirtita. So one should be in his be one should be doing his duty as per his nature and this thing. So how do we I mean how do we correlate, Prabhu?
Oh, this is talking about becoming a devotee is becoming a Brahmana automatically. So it is not telling you to change your profession or service. Prabhupada is telling becoming a Brahmana means you have to be thoughtful. You have to go in the direction of Brahma Janati iti Brahmana, understanding Brahman, not about external Brahmana qualities. Means the 12 qualities of a Brahmana. It's not about that. It is just you have to become a devotee. That is the point.
So here Prabhupada is indicating for practicing devotion and becoming.
Like what we are doing is it is we are trying to become Brahmanas in the sense that we are trying to understand the Brahman. The Parabrahman is Krishna. We are trying to understand. So we are doing the work of a Brahmana in the field. So we are going in that direction. So that is actually what it means.
Right, right. Thank you, bro. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And
Srinivas Prasad.
Hare Krishna, Dhanup Pranam Prabhuji. I was just thinking that in the scriptures we have read that Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. And so Krishna has descended in the form of his holy name, and the holy name is non different than Krishna himself. So if we are trying to see Krishna, so Krishna is in the form of name. So when we chant the holy name sincerely and we are purified, then this holy name only will be able to make us um, see Krishna face to face. Because so if we are trying to see Krishna separately, so how do we understand these two things? Because this age of Kali Yuga is that holy name is non-different than Krishna. There's no difference, and we are separately trying to see Krishna. But this holy name itself is Krishna. So
No, we are not trying to separately see. We are only seeing the connection.
Mhm.
We are not saying anything separate. It's all one. When you chant the form which you are, whatever is in your altar whom you are serving,
Mhm.
that will
Mhm.
come in front of your
Mhm.
eyes.
Correct.
So you will be able to. It is not separate. It is same only. So it is. We are not the Leela, Krishna, Krishna's name. It's all one. When you chant, you'll see the
Mhm.
form. When you chant, you'll see the Leela. When you chant, you'll know the gunas. And it is not separate. It's all one only. It's all transcendental.
Yes.
Hmm.
And it's only when it's a gradual process. So that once a devotee is completely purified, then he's always in that trance. He's always seeing Krishna, and struggling sadhakas like us, we sometimes feel some uh, f- feelings or something. Someday we feel, then that makes us chant more. Actually, we need to just this. What is stopping us basically to continuously feel what we sometimes feel?
Um, because we have our so many deep anarthas,
Hmm.
which are unwanted things, which we are holding on, that always stops us. And the desire to enjoy is still there, and anarthas are there. So, in terms of our understanding, in terms of our desires, in terms of our conditioning, and in terms of offenses, these are actually what is blocking us.
It's actually very painful that even if we realize something, matlab, every devotee is realizing something, because that is the reason that he's there from decades and practicing Krishna consciousness. But seeing that whatever relation a devotee has, but still he gets caught up in this material world. So how can you enlighten that? How that conviction can become more stronger? That I had some a little relation. So how do I make that more stronger rather than getting trapped here in this material world by so many all these things which you already mentioned?
Morning time is very important, bro. If morning you can chant your rounds, your realization will become more and more firm.
Hmm.
If Brahma Muhurta time is only time favors us.
Correct.
It is assisting our understandings. So if
Hmm.
you are utilizing it in properly in hearing, chanting, then you are best utilizing your day. And slowly things will change. That is only practical thing I can tell.
And like, but for that matter, we are working, and sometimes we come late from the office, and then we are not able to get up every day at the early mornings. Then we just
No, we have to make adjustments. We cannot give excuse because that will not serve the purpose of life.
correct.
The
No,
purpose of
I
life
do
is not to
I do
maintain a good career.
very true. I mean, I do understand, Prabhu, but that's what that is the struggle which is going on.
Yeah.
So the only hope is prayers of
Yes.
devotees and Guru and the lordships that they help
Yes.
us. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Care Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yeah, I have
Krishna.
a question, but just following up on your answer to Prabhu just now about, like if a person works late and, Brahma Muhurta becomes difficult, you know, to give the answer that, well, we cannot make excuses, it just doesn't seem very sensitive to different people's different circumstances. Yeah, you might be able to make adjustments from time to time, but when it's a consistent situation, then it's not really sustainable for a person to come home late every time and wake up early every time. Everybody needs, their minimum requirement of sleep. And so to say that, well, if you're not making adjustments to be up during Brahma Muhurta time, you know, it just doesn't seem to consider certain people's situation, and also if a person is not getting sufficient sleep, right, then how effective will their chanting during that time of day be? You know, I mean, but to me, making adjustments depending upon your individual circumstance means that um, you carve out time during a time of day that is best suited for you, considering your specific circumstances. Not that you do it during Brahma Muhurta, come hell or high water. So that's that's my question slash response to your answer.
Yeah. I also agree with this point, what you said. See, we have to tell, uh, we have to give that this is, we have to put it emphasis on this, that compulsory, and for personal, individual to individual, we can make some adjustments. But in common, this is actually the standard. Like Prabhupada is last when he is in the final, he is passing away. He is giving this instruction. The if you see the final pastimes of the Prabhupada, is telling Brahma Muhurta, wake up, chant, wake up, Brahma Muhurta, chant. So this is the instruction he is giving. So when we are telling about, we should tell you make adjustments and do. And if they personally explain the situation, then personally we can tell. But in we have to tell, okay, this is not practical for you, you can do it like this. So somebody is working and he has to some he like housewife is there, her children they are sleeping whole night, and she has to means the children are very small, so they don't let her sleep in the night. So for her it is not practical to be in Brahma Muhurta. So situation to situation we change, but when it comes to the common instruction, this is the instruction, like that.
Right. That's thank you. That's the only thing I wanted to bring out. That you know, it is a case by case. There's the general
Yeah.
instruction, but there's a case by case. You know, and
Yeah,
you have to
yeah.
be
So
you
what
have
I
to be
gave is a general
sincere.
instruction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and you have to be sincere enough in your own practice to understand. You know,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
for you.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Prabhu, just one other very simple question is, we keep saying that, one of the two reasons why we can't see Krishna is because we have senses that are trying to measure sense objects. So my question is about this word measure. So by measuring, we're simply meaning trying to perceive or experience sense objects according to our human capacity only, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Like put yaksha kind of thing from my only. We're like limited. We're kind of limiting reality to whatever our senses can perceive
Yes.
as human beings. That's measuring,
Yeah.
huh?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
That
Prabhu.
is
Thank
one
you. I just
measuring.
want to.
Another thing
Uh-huh.
is like it is trying to derive some pleasure
Ex-
from it.
yeah,
Experience is,
exploitation.
yeah, exploitation is there.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is
Thank you.
that's why Krishna is Shastra Sevon Mukhe Jivado. As soon as you develop a desire to serve, immediately Krishna is revealed. Swayameva
Uh-huh.
Sprahadyata.
Uh-huh.
If we change our way of looking at the world as a desire to serve the world, then Krishna is revealed.
Yes.
Mm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keshav Prem.
Narration, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. This scientific explanation with the PPT is so amazing, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this scientifically making us understand, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, what I understood today is it is finally, even in material relationship, we should uh, give up our false ego at least to some extent to if we want to stay in a good relationship, Prabhuji. So finally, if we want to enter a relationship with Krishna, our false ego should crush completely. That's what you're telling me, Prabhuji.
Yes.
And Prabhuji,
Yes.
for that to happen, we understand that our false ego has to be crushed completely. But as a sadhaka now, I am not able to do that. So for to crush my false ego, should I work on it or just chanting the holy name and following this process itself will crush my false ego, or should I work on it more on that line also, Prabhuji? What are we supposed to do?
Oh, we have to work in the direction in the sense that the we have to do. See, offenses are because of false ego only.
Hmm.
So we have to work on our offenses. So we have to be respectful. We have to
Hmm.
make sure that we are following all the things properly so that we don't, because of disrespect, all the offenses are coming. and
mm,
because of our negligence and all these things. So we have to work on them so that we don't end up in committing offenses, and
mm.
we
Okay,
don't
for
be
that we need a
disrespectful.
lot of strength now, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we are put in a mission which is a material mission, Prabhuji. So
See,
all these
strength
days I
is
was very happily, I was following the instruction of my body and I was thinking that I am living beautifully, Prabhuji. But now I understand theoretically, but even that understanding theoretically does not mean that I have changed myself, Prabhuji. I have to change myself. Really, I feel it's very difficult, Prabhuji. So that is why I'm asking the guidance.
we to become dependent. Like no, you have to go to
Mm,
your child is going to the mother, raising her hands and saying,
mm,
"I surrender."
mm,
So that is
mm,
easier than the child living
mm,
independent. But
mm,
now what happened is we have
mm,
developed so much ego that is blocking us to go to Lord and again we raise our hands and say, no,
mm,
surrender.
mm,
So the pain is
mm,
not because we are not able to do. The strength is we don't want to give up our identities, which is the pain that we are
mm.
getting. The burden is not external
Uh,
burden.
uh, uh.
You just have to
I
go to
agree,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
offer a leaf, offer a flute, offer a flower. How difficult
Oh,
it is. You for going to Krishna and bowing down to him, how difficult it is.
so that
But
is what
we don't
Acharya
want to
means.
do
Cry, cry, cry. That's what it means, Prabhuji. What you're telling now. Cry to
it.
Krishna.
Yeah.
Oh.
So how difficult it is? It is a very simple thing. Krishna is not demanding
Mm,
so much. He's telling sit and
mm,
chant, but our mind don't
mm,
want to chant. The ego is blocking.
mm,
Krishna is telling,
mm,
okay, do kirtan. Krishna is telling,
mm,
just offer some food to me and take prasadam.
mm,
Even that is
mm,
also
mm,
difficult for people. You go and tell them,
mm,
chant. How many people are interested in chanting?
mm.
So
Oh,
it is
okay.
not difficult external, it's the internal difficulty that we are
Mm,
blocking ourselves. The ego has developed so much. So I want to be in control. When you give a false ego, then I am no more the controller. So
mm,
Krishna gives all the situations. He has to give that situation so that we will come out of our false ego, but somehow we don't give it up. We go through
oh,
pain. Krishna has to give problem after problem to make us wake up. But
mm,
we don't want to wake up only. We again want to
mm,
jiv jago. Like why problems are there? Problems are actually a wake up call so that we surrender.
mm,
But now we
mm.
complain why problems are there. Array, that is we need exams so that we will seriously study the subject. If you
Mm, mm, mm,
stop exams in the school, will children
mm.
study? None of them will study.
True, true.
Only exams will
Mm,
make them study. So similarly, problems will make us wake up. But somehow,
okay.
after problems, also people still remain like that. So there is no
Oh,
option for keep on
mm,
one situation after one situation after another. So if you don't surrender, Krishna will make arrangement that will surrender. If not
mm.
this lifetime, next lifetime. But at least we are in that attempt to surrender. Slowly, slowly, we are
Okay.
taking our baby steps to surrender to Krishna and try to understand what exactly I should do in life, like that.
Very nice. So you're explaining the PPT, you were explaining with the Achintya Beda, you were explaining now, Prabhuji. See, earlier
Yeah,
we used to see the matter devoid of Krishna, like aloof of Krishna. We see cause and effect, you're telling Prabhuji. This material world is functioning on the basis of cause and effect, and scientists are
yeah,
doing that only, you're telling Prabhuji. And you
yeah.
were also explaining that, but Krishna is inside. So, what is it you're trying to explain? That I didn't get the point, Prabhuji. Then is it seeing that only start? That is where our transformation begins, Prabhuji. What is it you're trying to explain that?
No, if you don't see Krishna in this world, then we try to manipulate it. We try to work on it. We try to change things for ourselves. But if you
Hmm.
see Krishna in that, then we know that he is operating. I am not the operator. Ahankara vimudhatma karta mitmanyate. But it is prakriti kriyamanan. It is done by Krishna. It is happening by somebody else's will. It is not my
Hmm.
will. No, then God
Hmm.
happens is our trying to manipulate this world, trying to become the controller will reduce. So we'll understand how insignificant we are. We are
Oh.
thinking that I should change the things in my house. People should in
Ah.
my house listen to me. I should be the controller of the house. I should be controller of the congregation. I should be
Hmm. Hmm.
controller of some people. So The tendency is there because we think I am the cause of it. I can
Mm, mm,
manipulate and
mm,
I can change the results. So
mm.
when that mentality will go away slowly, slowly, that it does
So
not
we
work
should
like that. Krishna decides.
voluntarily, we should bring in our consciousness that Krishna is only doing everything, that we should bring voluntarily, Prabhuji. That's what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. Yes, yes.
Oh, then that will gradually we will understand that, Prabhuji. We need to do it as a
Yeah.
voluntary effort.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thanks. Yes. Vrindavan Gopal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yes, bro.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So, Prabhuji,
Mhm.
I am having some two questions. First question related to the first point which you are explaining regarding how Lord is invisible to us. So, mainly because of two reasons. Because by using these material senses, we can only perceive the things which we can enjoy, and Lord is not object of enjoyment, but on the other way. And second point you are telling, like if we love someone, then our object of love should not be visible, right?
No,
But
no,
we
no,
say,
not like that. Not like that. In spiritual world, Lord is visible. See what happens now. If Lord is visible here, it will block our free will. It will force us to serve Him for as a compulsion out of fear or self to get some things from the Lord. So that will be the motivation to serve Him if we see Him. Because our tendency in this material world is like that only. So if you see the Lord, if principle is there, we cannot have loving like principle in the school. People, children follow rules out of fear or out of compulsion, or they want some self-interest is there. Okay, I'll get something from the principal, good marks, good things, whatever. So now that will be the motivation. But now here the Lord don't want. See that motivation is still there now also for people. But Lord want to give something extra. He want to teach people what is selfless love also. So by not seeing him, now we have an opportunity to selflessly love him. Not out of fear or not out of duty or compulsion. It is out of there should be okay, I will love him also. It's a nice person. He's giving all the things. So how to develop that love now we will discuss in further session. But that is very important that we don't see him. That will help us in love also. That selflessness is possible only if he's not there. Otherwise, not possible.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think I do have another follow-up question on this, Rosie. Like even you have given the example regarding the principle. If principle is there, and then if principle is there, then maybe students like those like some they out of fear they want to be like they want to show themselves as more sincere, but there may be some other people who really like who really have a like favorable attitude without principle, and then if his actual presence is there, that may inspire them to become like more serious, more sincere. Then for those, even in this world also, we may be having like a different kind of people. Some people like who are trying to show off out of fear, and there may be some like people they have like a favorable attitude toward Lord, and they like if the presence of the Lord or if they get a more realization about the Lord, then it can give them it can inspire them more.
What
And
happens is the possibility of if because a big person is standing in front of you, to directly love him, to develop a relation with him becomes little difficult. We may have that type of on reverence, but that cannot be having that selfless love which which can be developed towards Krishna, how the gopis are developing. That is not possible. Or Vaikuntha, even Vaikuntha also they have that love that for the Lord. That will not be possible if we are directly seeing in front of us Virat Roop is there. And Arjuna is telling, no, 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 Krishna, better you become normal. I cannot have anything. So even Arjuna's mood got changed when he saw the Virat Roop. So it becomes a little difficult if you see Virat Roop in front of us to develop love to the Virat Roop. That is a Saumya Rupa, that is a little better. And in that also, if you know that, if you don't even consider Krishna as a god, then you can develop Raja Prema also. It is much more deeper. So the more, the lesser he is in a godly figure, the deeper the love will be. So that type of love is possible only if his Virat Rup is everybody seeing around, then nobody will that is okay. Everybody is trying to do something for him to get something for him. So it is not possible like that.
Okay. One small thing to like, and as I think previously also you have said, ki as a practitioner devotee, currently we don't have a direct realization about the Lord, and we are trying to realize the Lord by hearing or reading from the realization of the great devotees. So those who have a direct realization with the Lord. And by doing so, we may also get some realization about that. But we see, Prabhuji, like that realization they means, and when we read such prayers of such devotees, and when we hear about such sincere devotees who are having direct relation of the Lord, we also develop like some emotion for the Lord. Like we also try to divide some attraction for the Lord, but it doesn't stay very long, Prabhuji. Like what should we do so that that we should also get some realization, whatever our attraction toward the Lord, it should not be get interrupted. So what should we do as a sadhaka so that we can
Yeah,
get
we continuously associate with them and we hear them. This is called Bhava Bas. This comes actually. That is very important that we get that experiences. And we try to be with them more and more as much as possible. Be associate with them with their kirtans or lectures or some services so that we are slowly getting attached to that personalities. That is very important for us. That's why it is said that no, when we are attached to a great Vaishnavas, that is the way to cut this knots of this material world. So we we have to more associate with them so that we get that feelings.
okay.
So that is no option for us. That's why the great souls are very special. They travel around the world to help conditioned soul like us so that we'll get attached to them and our bondage to this metal world get reduced.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Right. Srinivas Prasad, do you have some question?
Yes, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, just thought came, like definitely when we chant in Brahmurat or whenever we are in association of devotees, early morning chanting helps us and it makes definitely feel us that we could get some connection with the Lord. But at the same time, like I was remembering this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, apna Chaitanya Shishtastakam. So, the verse which Mahaprabhu said that Nam Namakari Bahuda Nij Sarva Shakti Tatrar Pita Niyamita Samrana Kala. So there Mahaprabhu is mentioning that there's no, you can chant anytime. So can you enlighten that what exactly Mahaprabhu wants to tell through this verse, that you can chant, there's no time, uh, you can chant anytime, every time. So he's not mentioning about Brahmurat or specific. In this verse, he's saying that there's no time foundation. You can chant anytime during
See, the effect of holy name is always there. That
Mm-hmm.
is, anytime you chant, holy name will be powerful.
Hmm.
Problem is not with the holy name. Problem is with our mind. Our
Hmm.
mind, if it is in Sattuguna, it can more attentive to the holy name. It can feelingly chant. So to make, see what is the problem? Now also I can chant, but
Hmm.
problem is now the mind already in Rajoguna. So it
Hmm.
becomes difficult for me in Rajoguna to concentrate. But if I am doing it in the early morning, I can
Hmm.
concentrate. So
Correct.
it is not with the holy name. It is problem with the
The,
our
the,
mind.
the, the
So
three
that is the
modes,
problem.
the three modes.
So we are trying to fight with the mode. So what we are doing is we are trying to take help of Sattva which is there in
Mode
the
of
morning, so
goodness,
that
the
our
Lord.
mind is also cooperating like that.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. So
Hare
grateful to you.
Hare Krishna. Sita Komal.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam. Prabhu, am I
Pranam.
audible? Ji,
Yes,
Prabhu.
yes.
Prabhuji, today you explained, earlier also we have heard this so many times that, Krishna gives us pains and pleasures so that we can learn from them. And today also said, he's again and again giving us trouble so we don't surrender or don't listen to him. Prabhuji, in ISKCON,
Actually, Krishna
um,
does not give, Maya gives so that we go to Krishna. Like what happens is Maya makes us Mameve prapadyante Maya metam tarante. So for us, the problems comes from Maya. So we go to Krishna so that we can overcome Maya. That is how it works.
okay. Prabhu, I mean, getting specific into the ISKCON culture. Prabhu, we have this culture, no, even if there is a death of a devotee or anything, the temple proceedings continue, the aarti, everything, seva, everything. There is no festival celebration. Everything continues, even if he's an important, a very important devotee of the temple, very senior, whatever, no? So,
Mm.
and so and a lot of there are other lot of tragic things happens while in the temple, with the temple and other things. So Prabhu, because of so much of the celebrations and the sadhana, the discipline, at times, in fact most of the time, we forget the lessons what we are being supposed to know from the tragic events. I'm talking about as an institute collectively, like I'm talking just temples where there are a lot of tragedies happens, right? But instead of learning anything, because there was so much of celebrations, this, that, donors, and preaching, expansion, that we actually tend to forget what Krishna is trying to teach us or Maya is trying to teach us from those tragic events. And we continue, life goes on. I think the life becomes too normal too early without even introspecting. I think we introspection wala time also we are not given, because so much of rush and running around and moving on. So I don't know if I'm,
Yeah,
I'm able to.
there are some disadvantages of institute also. There are advantages also because institute has to run in spite of what is happening, what is not happening. Because you cannot stop the worship of Lord. You cannot stop the festivals. You cannot stop the events. That will go on. So there are some things that are very that goes with an institute, and because of which we get definitely carried away. And for us, time what you said is true. So they are the what you call the problems with an institute. And we get advantages of institute because we are getting such association and all. But we have to see the other side also. So it's a personal responsibility. We cannot say it's because of institute. It's a personal responsibility for all of us to um, take it and contemplate. Now we are in a group and we are discussing. So why we have to have discussions? Because now this is our own responsibility. We have to uh, make this commitment for ourselves. And now we are seriously discussing. Now some event happens and now we want to discuss. So that's why small groups are very important, where serious devotees come together. They have like-minded understanding and then they start discussing. So small groups are always helpful in growth of our bhakti. In big forum, we will not be able to do so. Like now here in this, we cannot discuss. But if we have a small group of five, six, so that should also be available for us, so that we will discuss this and try to understand and become more serious. Okay, this incident happened, so let us meditate on it so that come out of it. So this should be there. It cannot happen in big forums and institute. It will never happen. We have to take responsibility and form small groups, have discussions, try to make like say if you want to discuss like Bhakti Tit Maharaj books, Die Before You Die. They're very serious and very book, so that cannot be discussed in a big forum. That should be in a small groups where devotees contemplate, share this understanding with examples, situations, and all. So in that way we grow like that only.
Right, Prabhu. So, of course, Prabhu, you have explained this point earlier also. It's our responsibility to take care of our bhakti and our spiritual this thing. And ISKCON
Yeah.
is just providing us a platform from where we
And
have to
small
become.
groups are very important, Mataji. That is also another thing you have to always know that I need to have 4 or 5 devotees or 6, whatever, who are whom we can share and discuss these things more. That will be very helpful, where we share and understand, contemplate. Now, if I tell, okay, this incident happened, now you have a reflection on it. Then you start thinking whole day, what should I speak? What should I discuss with my friends on this subject? So that will help in that way to make us more contemplative and grow. And
Right. Prabhu, just one more thing. Prabhu, the way we all are connected through online this thing and we are all associated to different temples. I'm talking about these groups, Morning Bhagavatam and your group. So, Prabhu, isn't it there can be some disconnect because it's like our service area is some other temple because I don't know, is it a valid question or not? But
see what happens when principles are same only. Whichever temple you are, the principles don't change. The present their situations and all may be different for different people. That I agree, and it may not be relevant to some of the topics for it. But when you come to principles, like we are discussed of 10 offenses, so it is applicable for all of us all the time. And now we are discussing about why we are not able to see Lord because of our false ego. This is principle wise, it is same only, right? So only thing is
Mhm.
application wise, it may be you have to see your according to your scenario. I gave example of a wife and husband, some scenario. It may not be
Mhm.
applicable to everyone. It may be applicable to somebody. They will relate with some other examples like that. So principles are not changing. And place to place, your situation. Once you understand the principle, we have to use our intelligence and apply it like that.
Okay. Right, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very thoughtful answer. It has been there in my mind for quite some time. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay. Thanks. Vanamali Pro.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Uh,
So I have, I mean, I want just a comment. The thing is, we've been, um, first, we've been going through many millions of lifetimes, and now we got this opportunity to, turn towards Krishna. So I think, like what Maharaj always says, to have gratitude, like that we instead of looking negatively how long it takes, then to know that we are in the right direction, makes us more encouraging to do bhakti and do the journey and follow. I mean, what do you call? Uh, Go through the journey. I think that would be better, right? What do you think?
Yes, that is the only way. We don't have option. We cannot go anywhere. Even if it is becoming too slow process also, we don't have option. Where we'll go? We cannot live a materialistic life.
Yeah.
So, but have patience. Utsaha Nishya Dhairya is our shloka. And what you tell is to be grateful after so many lifetimes I am getting. Yes, I agree with you. Thank you.
And also, and in the Sishtastikam sloka, when the gopi says, "Oh, I will, you are my Lord, even after you kick me or hit me," or so that's where that false ego example kind of comes, like like the total surrender, and no matter what, even Lord does not give us
Yeah, yeah.
the
In that
love.
PPT, after that, next slide is that sloka only.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
I did not do because we already did that PPT, so I just showed only first
Oh,
2 parts.
yeah, yes. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thanks. Anna. Any other questions, comments? Okay, we'll end here.